What's up, League? It's your commissioner getting ready for week 5. I know y'all are ready for it. I'm ready for it. But before we get into the matchups, wanted to go over just a couple of news and notes, really just more of league update kind of stuff. For one, talk about with it being the quarter mark of the season, we're done at the first quarter of the part of the season. I think it's good to kind of see where everybody sits. And instead of going through everybody, we're just really looking at the top 5 teams in the league. And starting off with the number 1 team in the league right now, it's pretty easy to determine who that is. If you've been paying attention, the number 1 team is Power T. He's sitting at 4-0. He's the top scoring team in the league by far right now. And he's had 2 300-point games to start the season. I don't think I've ever seen anybody start off a season like he started. He's well on his way looking to be the favorite he's already the favorite to win the championship and get that number 3. Me, myself, will be very jealous if he gets 3 before me, but I've already told him that. So good luck to him as the season continues. Next up, the number 2 team via the power rankings is the Big Wolf. We know who that is. We ain't got to talk about that too much. The number 3 team, STL, 4-time champ. You know how he does it. He does it every year. He builds a roster, tinkers with it, waivers, trades, he's just making all kind of moves and doing all kind of things. He's, again, one of the top 3 scoring teams in the league. Looks like he's well positioned to be in the playoffs again, and he'll be fighting for getting that championship number 5. The number 4 team, Baker King, took a year off and now he's back. He's sitting at 2-2, but you're talking about one of the top 4 scoring teams in the league. Baker King is a solid team, and we'll get to his matchups in a second, but Baker King is one to be reckoned with. And then the number 5 team right now via the power rankings is Bulldogs. Thing I like about Bulldogs is consistency. He's at 3-1. He's one of the top 5 scoring teams or top 6 scoring teams in the league. When you got Brady, you got consistency. And that's the thing that you always can look for with Bulldogs. He's going to never be out of a game. He's always going to be in it. Even last week in a loss, I think he had 270 points. I mean, you get beat 300 to 270. In our league, that shouldn't even count as a loss just because of the amount of points that he put up. So I think he scored more than anybody else outside of the team he was playing against. So that's the top 5 in the power rankings. I did want to go over real quick, too, the Pick'em, because the Pick'em has been pretty hot. We've had a couple of teams hold the top spot for a week or so. But right now, we got Dark Knight sitting at the top. And Dark Knight is coming off a week where he got 14 correct games. So I don't know if he's gambling or what, but that would have been a great week to do it. So Dark Knight sitting number 1, coming off a week where he picked 14 right. He's got 38 on the season. AGM for Life is right next to him, or second place with 37 correct games for the season. And then Infantry Warrior and Greatest Show on Paper are tied at 36. We got a couple of teams that are around 35. Nobody's out of it, so continue to put those picks in. I was looking at it, and I think the team that's furthest out has 32 correct games, and I'm really going by the teams who participated each week in Pick'em. So keep it up, because you just never know. Every week we've seen so much change, and with only a couple of games separating everybody, we all got a chance to get a return on our investment with that. So talked about power rankings, talked about Pick'em. Now let's talk about the game. So game of the week, I thought I'd go with 2 teams. I'll consider them a rivalry, but they definitely share the same fandom with their favorite team. So we'll see how they go up against each other this week. But Laugh Now versus Fire Dogs. Both teams are 2-2. So whoever wins this game will come out with a winning record, and whoever loses will be just not only a loser this week, but they'll be losing for a full week because I have a 2-3 record. Looking at how their rosters are set up, Laugh Now, he struggled with quarterback. He's having to go with Cooper Rush this week, which to me, I don't think that's a bad thing. But when Dak comes back, we'll see who he'll be using for quarterback. He does get Alvin Kamara back, which is going to boost him even more. I think Kamara missing is been hurting him, or Kamara not 100% has been hurting him. And so hopefully that week off last week got him back to where he needed to be. Deebo Samuel has been playing lights out. I think you can continue to see Deebo Samuel, especially when he's getting those big chunk plays, those 40-yard plays that just get you, I think, anywhere from 8 to 12 points, depending on if it's a touchdown. Tight end is still a worry over there for him, because you really can't count on Evan Ingram. I do like Garrett Wilson, Drake London. We'll see how those rookies are doing for him, but in the long run, he's got a good chance. Derek Carr on the other side is probably the better quarterback in this situation. Khalil Herbert can compete as he gets all the run in Chicago right now. And then you get down to receiver. where you got, don't let me forget Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce, after that bad week 1, he's came on and he's shown how solid he is as a running back. So I like those 2 running backs the Fire Dogs got. He's got A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk. He's got some other guys on there he got to pick up off the scrap heap. And then Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin is a solid tight end. So it's been a tough season so far for both these teams, but Fire Dogs, I think, has the better roster, and definitely quarterback is what separates things right now. And I feel like we can trust Derek Carr a little bit more, especially coming off that big game. So I'm taking Fire Dogs to win this one. Neither one of these teams, like whenever I pick them, they always say it's a jinx. So congratulations, laugh now. Next game, we're going to go with King of the Gridiron versus the 2-2 King of the Gridiron versus Bulldogs. Now, Bulldogs is coming off a loss, so you know he's mad. He's ready to get back out there. King of the Gridiron, can't remember what happened with him last week, but nonetheless, he's going up against a mad good team, and you never want to be in that position. Zach Wilson versus Tom Brady, going with the greatest quarterback of all time, maybe the greatest athlete of all time. And Tom Brady, you know, he's out for blood this season, I think. And so Saquon and Fournette, you got solid duo, the number 1 running back in fantasy right now in Saquon versus Singletary and Jeff Wilson. I shouldn't say there's no comparison because in fantasy anything can happen, but on paper you got to go with what Bulldogs is putting out there. Mike Evans versus Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup on the other side. Adam Thielen has come on pretty well. Josh Reynolds is super, super solid without the receivers that like Amon-Ra St. Brown. If he's not playing, Josh Reynolds almost goes to being the number 1 guy because I don't think DJ Chark is playing either. And then Dawson Knox, man. Dawson Knox, great tight end. He's not getting the targets like he was last season, but in our league, 3 catches and 35 yards is enough points, and let alone if he gets a touchdown. The Titans defense are going against Washington. Titans defense hadn't been all that, but we'll see. The Chargers defense getting the Browns. Could get some turnovers to get Jacoby Brissett, but the Chargers defense they've been a little so-so as well. It's not going to be an easy matchup per se, but I am going to take Bulldogs to get his 4th win, King of the Gridiron to take another loss. Next game is the GOAT versus the Greatest Show on Paper. GOAT's 1-3, Greatest Show on Paper's 1-3. Both teams have really good quarterbacks. So, and you look at their rosters, it's kind of a shock that both of them are 1-3. I would assume one of them at least had 2 wins by now or be tied. The good thing is that at the end of this week, one of them will have 2 wins and the other will have 4 losses though. And so looking at what they're both putting out there, Antonio Gibson, I think the ship sailed on him. They have already activated Brian Robinson on that team, so you really can't count on Antonio Gibson anymore. But Najee Harris is getting all the run for him. On the flip side, Kareem Hunt and Rashad Penny, they're pretty much the opposite of what GOAT's got. Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, think you can trust them a little bit. Well, no, Brandon Cooks and D.J. Johnson are good. George Kittle looks like he's coming back to himself. Titans defense, not sure the Texas defense runs against the Jags. I don't know what you can get there, but I do like the Saints defense. They're just a really good defense. And so looking at the rosters, I like the receivers a little bit better on Greatest Show on Paper side, so I'll take him to go 2-3 and go to take that 4th loss. Next up, we got Swagner versus Dark Knight. Swagner's 3-1, Dark Knight's 1-3. Dark Knight's got Patrick Mahomes, he's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Chris Godwin's coming back for him this week, which is big. Devontae Adams. Man, if Devontae Adams gets back to having those 10 catch, 100-yard games, he's going to be a force. Allen Lazard he's probably the number 2 receiver after Dobbs now. The tight end is just not getting it done for him, though. On the flip side, Kyler Murray, James Conner, Jamal Williams is huge. Noah Brown, we'll see. Devin Duvernay, I don't think you can trust him. Cooper Kupp's good. Dallas Goedert's good. The Vikings defense versus the Bears is in a great spot. The Cowboys for Dark Knight. I don't know, man. It's hard to see Dark Knight getting the win in this one, so I'm going to go with Swagner to go to 4-1. Dark Knight taking that 4th loss. Next up, we got the Huckleberry, who's 2-2 versus the 3-1 STL 4-time champ. STL is putting out Teddy Bridgewater right now over Kirk Cousins, so he's getting frisky on the quarterback. But he's got CMC, James Robinson, Jamar Chase, Christian Kirk, Chris Olave. and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, man, who just knew you'd see this coming with him. And then to boot, he has a hamstring injury this week. Jacoby Brissett, Ezekiel Elliott, man, he ain't performing either. Nelson Aguilar, Terry McLaurin, Dalton Schultz, hopefully he gets back to doing what he was doing last season or the last 2 seasons really. And Darren Waller is he had one good week, but then the last few weeks have just been below average or average at the best. I'm just going to go off of history and previous performances. Huckleberry just hasn't put up those big points game, and STL has. So I'll take STL to go to 4-1 and Huckleberry to get that third loss. This would have been my game of the week because of the trash talk that I saw. But looking at Power T, 4-0 versus he's changed his name to Rocky B, but we know him as Who's Your Daddy for the last few years. But it's Rocky B versus Power T, and Joe Burrow versus Justin Herbert. You know what? I'm taking Burrow this week. I like Burrow versus the Baltimore Ravens because it's going to be a shootout game. Justin Herbert playing Cleveland Browns might not have to do so much. Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook can't compete well. Nick Chubb and Dalvin Cook versus Austin Eckler and Miles Sanders is probably equal. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I haven't seen anything about him play, so we'll see. But Jalen Waddle, I know he's playing. Mark Andrews, T.J. Hockenson, especially if Amon-Ra St. Brown, T.J. Hockenson blew up last week. Gabriel Davis should be back. T. Higgins has been great. Jerry Jeudy, he's going tonight. But Zach Ertz, it's going to be a good game. And Rocky B has been scoring a lot of points. He's going to need, I put it out there that you need to have 300 to put Power T out. Not sure Rocky B could get up there this high this week. But Power T has just been on such a tear. So I'm taking him to go to 5-0. It's going to be, I'll look on his schedule and see when a loss might be coming up, but it's going to be a while. So Power T taking that and staying undefeated. Last up, one more game after this one. We got Infantry Warrior, who's 2-2 versus the 0-4 AGM for Life. AGM for Life, things got a little bit worse with Jonathan Taylor getting sidelined, and so he's not going to be playing tonight. So he's left to deal with just A.J. Dillon. The good thing is that they're playing the Giants. The bad part about it, they have to take across the country to do it, across the globe to do it. So you just never know how those England games go or those London games go. I do like Dillon. They should be leading, which means a lot of run for him. Romeo Doubs, again, other than it, he's the number 1 receiver in Green Bay right now. So Matthew Stafford, he's got to come alive, man. Matthew Stafford has just been a dud. Tight end, Mo Alley Cox, he's reaching on that one. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's up in the air. 20 points, I think, is you can get there. Bills defense, though. The Bills defense might score 120 this week, so that's going to be a saving grace to stay in the game. On the other side, Geno Smith has looked solid. Damian Harris, Derrick Henry, Michael Pittman's back healthy. Mike Williams is up and down. The tight ends, again, Gerald Everett is probably the most reliable on the other side. The Bengals defense getting the Ravens, which is never a good spot having to deal with the running, but Lamar can't turn it over sometimes. So this is going to be a good game. I'm actually going to take AGM for Life to get his first win because this is one of those weeks where things can turn right, and especially having the Bills defense. And I think Matthew Stafford gets in the shootout with the Cowboys. So good luck this week, AGM for Life. And finally, we got the 3-1 Big Wolf versus the 2-2 Baker King. Another option for a game of the week, but can't really pick the Wolf because of my organizational ties there. So put us down at last. But Baker King, Jalen Hurts versus Lamar, J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard versus Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones. Man, both rosters are just really good. But Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Devontae Smith, man, that receiving core, geez, it's just hard to outscore them. And then Tyler Higbee has been doing phenomenal with the Rams. I think he had like 14 targets Monday night. So y'all know it. I can't pick in this game. So of course, due to my affiliation with a Big Wolf organization. So good luck, Wolf. Know you practice hard. Know you're ready for it. It's gonna be a big game because Baker King is tough, and Baker King will let you hear about it when he beats you too. So be on the lookout for that. So that's all I got for this week. Hope y'all enjoy it. And until next week, y'all take care.